professional motherfucker on his cell phone.
But we didn't even start yet. I know you
clapped. I did the
like...
clap, man. I synced that. Everything's ready to go. I'm already editing this shit right now.
This is the podcast. It's just me on the phone, and it ends. It's just like Dylan didn't show up. Dylan was so unprofessional. He's now gone from Joystick.
I had to CGI Dylan into this episode.
Yeah, he will now serve time in the Joystick dungeon.
We're already in the Joystick dungeon.
No, we're not. This isn't the Joystick dungeon. The Joystick studio has 2 rooms in it. Yeah. There is the basement where we're filming. Yep. And then there's a second room.
Are you talking about that room?
No, we're not talking about the bathroom. So 3 rooms. There's a bathroom, and then there's also a laundry room.
Yeah, but we're talking about that room.
The laundry room.
The laundry room.
It has a false wall in it.
Yeah.
And we keep people there.
Yeah.
Where do you think Joey's been?
In his house. Just something like that.
No, he's been in the...
He's been in the Joystick dungeon, yeah.
He's in the Joystick dungeon. We've had a VR headset on him for 8 months.
He's been stuck in there.
Yeah. No, he's doing a VR simulation of him doing a VR Let's Play. So when he gets out, we have him do a VR Let's Play, and he's perfect. He's even better than last time. We're like, damn, this guy's so professional.
There's like a whole Inception thing going on. Have you ever seen the catwalk room that's actually in that room?
I have not.
That's a closet, but then in that closet at the back of it is another door, and you open that up, and that's how you get to like the breaker box at the house. Okay, and everything. But
that's cool.
But it actually looks like a dungeon. It's like a room that's no joke, like about this wide. You have to like squeeze yourself.
That happened in my grandma's house because in my grandma's basement, my grandpa had like a warehouse where like you would like build shit, and then if there was like this whole side alleyway, and it was the same thing. It was like to get to the breaker and everything.
That's cool. Well, this is the Joystick Show.
Hello, welcome guys. Just started talking right away. That was beautiful.
Yep. And we've got some great old things to discuss today.
Oh, yeah.
But first off, anything you just want to start off with? Just like,
No, not really. I feel like every week I talk about what I've been watching.
Yeah. Have you watched anything as of recent?
So I've been watching a lot of just like history documentaries. Mm-hmm. And this is one guy on YouTube called Fire of Learning. Yeah. I've talked about him before, but if we could have him on, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I would love to have this man on because he makes really good history content, but like he's kind of boring. Mm-hmm. Like he's monotone where it's like it's interesting, but I can fall asleep within the hour.
Okay, I feel that.
Yeah. So I know about like every civilization right up until they're about to collapse. And then after that, I have no clue.
And you fall asleep.
Yeah. And then on autoplay, it's like 3 episodes later.
How did the Byzantine Empire collapse?
Right? And then I'm on this episode, and it's like, oh yeah, they're all Islam, and if they're all Muslims, and if you don't believe it, they murder you. It's like, oh, like we made like 8 huge steps,
Oh, I had something cool to tell you. Yeah. Remember Studio Binder, my favorite film YouTube channel? Yeah. So they have a YouTube series called Directing Styles Explained, and me and Dylan have watched quite a few of them. So they made one about Tarantino and about Fincher.
We're waiting on a few. We're waiting on a few really good directors.
What was the one that I told you I've been waiting for a super long time?
Probably like Kubrick. Probably
they fucking made it.
They made Stanley Kubrick.
Guess what we're watching after this?
Oh my god! We have to end the podcast right now.
Amazing. Me and Jose were watching it a couple hours ago because he was here, and Jose, who's like not even a film guy, was even like, Jesus, this guy like knows how to.
Oh
make
yeah,
a movie.
Kubrick is like don't they all have like a card?
Yeah.
Is it like the Perfectionist?
What's funny? That's Dylan. I swear. That was my guess.
Yeah, of course.
I told before the video even started. I told Jose I was like, his is gonna be like the Perfectionist, but his was the Mastermind.
That's good too.
Which is still pretty.
That's
dope.
still really.
But it's kind of crazy that we were in each other's heads because I fucking called that.
Because I mean, that's what he's known for. He was known for like filming all these shots and
that shot in The Shining made Shelley Duvall do it 127 times.
Yeah, it's like, no, this wasn't right.
And what's actually cool about that video is the Directing Styles YouTube video is also interlaced with behind the scenes footage of him directing like The Shining.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like, unlike all the other videos where it's pretty much they show you something and they explain it, you actually get to see his directing process and you get to hear him talk, and like it's just crazy. You can tell when somebody has like an exact vision for what it is they're trying to put out, and it's an awesome thing to see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like super excited. I was going on to rewatch another video about some boring film topic that only I find interesting, but then I saw that and I was like, no way. It was insane.
That's so cool.
Also, it dawned on me that I have to rewatch 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, I love that movie.
Just like
incredible movie.
Just be washed with whatever is going on. Oof, that is a.
That movie
it's an experience.
I'm sad I didn't like. I wasn't like. I would have bugged out if I was like living and I saw that. Like if I was like young like, and living in that time period and to see those space shots, I'd just be like, oh, what is life? We're so minuscule. I'd have like an existential crisis in the theater.
Real quick to like just talk about a tidbit from that video to say where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
is they were talking about how he's a sound design, and specifically how in 2001 A Space Odyssey he uses like no sound design. Everything is mad quiet. You only hear like what you absolutely need to. And there's even a scene in the movie where an astronaut's oxygen gets cut off, and you just hear like silence as he's dying and suffocating in space. It's like an insane shot, but it's awesome. Well, you know, not suffocating in space,
suffocating and dying. Awesome.
You know what I mean. The cinematic framing of said whatever. I'm not gonna try to say myself. It's a sick ass shot. I don't care. The guy's dying. You know, whatever. Yeah. Where was I was gonna say something.
I don't know, bro. You were going on about this movie.
I was going on about this movie. I mainly just wanted to tell you that because I know that I've told you 100 times that I've been waiting for a Kubrick.
I mean, I've been waiting for it too. Who do you think they're gonna do next?
I was thinking about that. I think it's about time for Spielberg.
I think it should be like Spielberg and then Coen Brothers. That's
yeah, that's a really good one.
They do also they did Wes. Have they done Wes or no? Wes Anderson?
No, they haven't. Okay, that'd be a really good one. He has a really idiosyncratic
and you know a lot of that is just set design and costume design. I feel like that could be like more than half the episode.
Production design and color would be like most of
those would be like 4 of the 7.
And camera, everything is filmed so fucking symmetrically. I mean, I personally would want like an Edgar Wright one, but that's just like me speaking. Yeah. I feel like I love Edgar Wright and I think he's one of the best directors we have, but I also feel like he doesn't have enough in his repertoire yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's only got like 5 really, really big, maybe like 6 big films.
And also, I don't know. I feel like sometimes director, I remember me and Bobby took a high school film class together.
Yeah.
And like,
intro to film.
It was just like, some directors were like really specific of what their vision was and everything, and then we would do another director, and I'm like, it just seems like he did blockbuster movies in the 30s, you know, like Howard Hawks. What's his name? Howard Hawks. Like he just did
Howard Hughes. Is it?
Howard Hughes. Yeah, he just made like big movies, and I'm like, I guess there's like some similarities, but not really. It was just kind of all just a bunch of movies with famous people in it.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like the Coen Brothers or Kubrick, you see more of like a designed like focus.
Oh, funny enough, perfect segue into another video essay I was watching. You'll probably get a kick out of this. Jerry was over yesterday. We were hanging out, and me and Jerry had a little movie night. And guess what we watched? We watched Ocean's 11.
Interesting.
Because I was watching a video essay yesterday where this guy, I'll find it and I'll link it, but it was a guy. It's not really somebody who I frequently watch. It was kind of like a one-off video that I found. And it was a guy who's made films. He's a longtime filmmaker who was talking about in college how he wanted to film a heist movie as his thesis.
All right.
So he sat in his dorm room and he basically like watched a shit ton of heist movies as you know, to study as reference. And he basically came to the realization that like there for some reason he loves heist movies. And he thinks that it's because a heist movie in a weird way is like a highly metaphorical form of filmmaking. It's a group of people coming together with their unique skill sets to pull off a job together.
Interesting.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, I see the exact line I think.
So like the video essay was him basically trying to explain that and really like great examples.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the video, apparently Steven Soderbergh, the director of the Ocean's movies, had an interview at like maybe a few years ago where he was actually saying that exact same thing. How he was saying in a way like he felt like he was Danny Ocean, like, you know, getting the team together to do it. It was almost like he was filming what he envisioned himself doing in that moment.
Because other type of ensembles, you don't even get that.
Exactly.
Because it's not like robbing a bank or
and you compare that to, it's funny, the video also compares Ocean's 11 to like the original Ocean's 11, like the Frank Sinatra one from I think the 60s or something like that. It's so like, it's not bad, but it's so different, right? It's like those were back when movies like they didn't even show the ceiling, you know what I mean? It was always it was like theater on TV, so they just shot that way and people just talked to each other the whole time.
So weird.
Then you cut to like a fast pace fucking George Clooney's over there, fucking Matt Damon is following him. It's insane. Like to see those like back to back. It's pretty cool. What was I gonna say though?
I don't know, bro. This is your brain.
You ready for this segue right now?
Yeah.
You know who's in that movie?
Who?
Bernie Mac.
I love Bernie Mac.
And you know who Bernie Mac was?
Comedian?
A comedian.
All right.
And you know what we're talking about today?
Top 5 best comedians of all time.
Let's do it. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac, by the way.
Oh, yeah. He died. I forgot.
He did. He died a while back.
But that's the thing, though, is that so many comedians die super early. It's kind of like when like a sport athlete dies in their prime. It's kind of like it's the same type of thing where you're like, man,
it's a shame.
Yeah, like of course people will always say like of course like rappers and musicians and stuff, but with me it's always like the comedian that dies super early.
You know who died? You know what Bernie Mac died of?
I don't remember.
Pneumonia.
Oh my god.
Of all things, yeah, crazy.
Jeez.
Wild stuff, man.
Yeah, but like Mitch Hedberg died mad young. Geraldo.
Yeah, Greg Giraldo, Patrice
what's his
O'Neal.
name? Patrice O'Neal. I thought Patrice was like 50 for the longest time. When he died, he was 41. And in all those old clips, so he's in his 20s.
Yeah, and everybody to this day talks about how fucking funny Patrice O'Neal is, man.
And he would have been huge if he had a podcast during the quarantine.
What? You kidding me?
It would have so many views. Man. And then you have a guy like Bill Hicks who died of cancer at 32.
Yeah.
And he wrote for everybody.
Yeah.
And he was like best friends with Tool.
Is that the guy that Joe Rogan quotes a lot?
Yeah. And he
oh, that's right. You were telling me the Tool thing.
Yeah, he was best friends with Tool, and they in the album art, like when you open it up, the first thing it says is that this album goes out to Bill Hicks.
That's crazy.
And I was like, it's weird how those mediums cross paths a little bit.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, we were gonna talk about like kind of our top 5 best comedians.
What I did with that was I just wrote down like some of my favorite comedians.
So you have your top 5?
I don't have a top 5. I was just gonna try to like say a bunch, and then we can.
We're gonna formulate.
We're gonna
kind of like
form like a consensus.
And
then as we're doing that, we can look them up. We can look at awards.
Sounds good.
We could look at like what I know that there was a list of like top 100 of all time. We could look at that. There's a lot of old comedians on there.
My next question to you: are we doing like our personal top comedians, or who we think are just like the top comedians to ever do it?
I mean, if you want to do 2 lists, that's kind of, you could do like the best, and then you could do like your favorite. But I don't know, I'm cool with either.
I think if anything, if we're gonna compare lists, it's probably better to do the best, and then obviously we could sprinkle our favorites, and you know what I mean.
For sure.
So who do you think is like? And by the way, are we doing like a live or of all time type of situation?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. Everything's fair game. Because if we're gonna do best of all time, I would say George Carlin. But
George Carlin, yeah.
He's not alive right now.
Exactly. I would have said Richard Pryor.
There's a lot of those are I believe if we look up the list,
those are
number 1 and number 2.
Am I not? Yeah.
If we look it up, so I mean, though, if we do a live, then the list changes a little bit.
So do you want to do a live?
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
Top 5 comedians alive.
All right.
I think it's a pretty solid number 1. Do you know who I'm thinking?
Chappelle?
I think it's Dave Chappelle.
Chappelle's the best.
Chappelle's got to be the best comedian alive right now. Or let me rephrase. He's got to be the best active comedian alive. You know what I mean?
For sure. He's taking breaks, but like, for example, I remember a story I heard on Joe Rogan's podcast was Russell Peters got invited to Eddie Murphy's birthday party. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about how all of these famous people were there talking with Eddie Murphy, trying to get him back into comedy.
Yeah.
And that guy would kill it, but he's not active.
That's why I brought it up.
He's
the
not
active situation, because he's not active.
We'll talk about this later, but he's also one of those comedians that just went on to like make movies.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another weird type of
that's a route, you know what I mean? That's
it definitely
money in your fucking pocket.
Especially his movies are really funny.
I feel like that's what most stand-up comedians did, or like I said, Nowadays, I feel like stand-up is more of a self-sufficient type of
now you have
art
a
form
podcast,
almost. Exactly.
You're not, the most you have is an agent or
you're actively doing stuff. It's also, I don't want to say it's hard to book a gig, but once you're an active stand-up comedian, it's not super difficult to do shows and stuff like that.
Now I mean it's going to be a little difficult now with like
besides that,
which by the way, the history Mark Normand had a cool video before we get it. Mark Normand, who by the way, like top 10 already. He's hysterical.
Hilarious. But is it the video in the park?
Yeah.
I saw the thumbnail.
Yeah. And it's like that type of video is hysterical because it's true in that up until 2021, all comedy is going to be indoors. Yeah. I mean, outdoors.
Outdoors. Yeah.
So no indoors. So it's going to be outside. You're going to be in a tent. It's going to be like on like a stage. It's going to be very weird. But
it is going to be strange.
It'll be funny.
For sure. So we're going to do this top 5 comedians alive. Okay. All right.
Number 1 is
Chappelle, probably. Active alive comedians. Who do you think is up on that top 5 list? I think Bill Burr's up there.
Yeah, he was gonna be top 5 for me.
Yeah. He's like, I love Bill Burr, but I'll be honest, he's like, I can't sit down and watch like a full type of.
He's good in 5 to 10 minute segments. He's hysterical.
I think so. Yeah.
He's like one of the funniest, and I also just like how ridiculous he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of those comedians that he will just say something. Like he had a whole bit about how he hates the first ladies, and he's like I like the Bushes because they made them be quiet or whatever. And he had like this whole bit about how like Nancy Reagan was annoying and she was trying to do too much, and it was just like it was the most ridiculous concept, but it was hysterical the way he did it and explained each one. He's like, I'm tired of Michelle Obama. I see her on every commercial. It was really funny.
I think it's funny that you like the thing you said about how he actually in real life doesn't get that angry or doesn't actually get that upset.
And that's why he makes a podcast by himself. He's like the only one that does it by himself, and he just rants the whole time. And
I've noticed that.
That's how he gets it out.
Theo Von also does that. He has like a self podcast. Yeah. He features guests, but for the most part, yeah.
Theo Von's funny, but he's not top 10.
Yeah,
he's
I also wouldn't even consider him like a active stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he is, but you know, no Netflix special or anything like that. Not even like a televised special for that matter. It's more just like podcast.
Well, that's the thing, is that people get known from the special, but there's so many comedians that never did a special. Mm-hmm. Patrice O'Neal had one special. Mm-hmm. So Bobby Lee has never done one, and he's been a comedian since the 90s.
But then again, he had Mad TV, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not to say Theo Von didn't have stuff, but what was he on? Like
he was on like a bunch of MTV dating shows.
Exactly. It's like,
fun fact, he was actually on one show with Christina, who was Tom's wife.
Oh, really?
They were on a show together.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
And she got cut out of a lot of the scenes, but they were on. They did crazy. like Road Rules or something. They did together.
Ah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Would you put Tom Segura in the top 5?
He's close, but I don't think so.
I don't think he's in my personal top 5.
He's hysterical, but
I feel like there's other top 5 comedians for sure that reached that list. Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head,
I mean, John Mulaney's really relevant.
Oh, John Mulaney's definitely up there as top 5 active for sure.
Okay,
bro, he's got like 4 specials on Netflix right now. You know what I mean?
And they're all really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have him on that list for sure. So
I would definitely put him on that top 5 list for sure. I was just thinking about comedians I've seen live the other day. I was remembering how my dad took me to see Daniel Tosh, but also how my dad takes me out to see comedy shows, kind of like why I love it. And my dad took me to see Carlos Mencia.
Oh my God, when was this?
Recently.
Oh shit.
Like about a year ago, Gotham, maybe a year and a half before obviously the world went to shit. Yeah. I gotta say, despite everything that they said about the joke stealing or about his brand of comedy, I loved it a lot. Mm-hmm. He's very, very funny. Kind of gives off that, it's like a new energy. I used to think it was just Dave Chappelle doing it, but it feels like a lot more comedians are doing this more like, I don't know how to phrase it, but it feels almost like a comedic TED Talk. You know what I mean? Where they come out and they like educate you for a brief amount of time, and then they find a way to spin it and make it funny. You know what I mean?
Interesting, yeah.
And Carlos Mencia did exactly that in his own way with like immigration and like Hispanic stuff in this country. It was really cool. And honestly speaking, I'll be that guy to admit that when my dad was like, I got tickets to go see Carlos Mencia, I was like, cool. You know, like in the back of my head.
Me too. I mean, I wouldn't even go probably.
Exactly. But I left that show satisfied. Nice. I thought it was really, really funny. He also had some really great opening acts.
That's a lot of the best comedians. That's what they did. He
also asked me how many times I could jerk off in one sitting.
Carlos Mencia asked
in the middle of the show. Kid you not. He was doing a joke about, he was like, I'm mad I'm old. He's like, my max is so little now. And then he's like, I need a young guy. And he points me out because we were front row. And he's like, what's your max now? And I was just like,
okay. Well, I got 2 questions. What did you say? And what is it? Truth? What is it? Like, that's a really good question.
I'm getting old now too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, of course.
It's like that Tom Segura joke where he's like, I just do it all the time. And then I have to make that decision where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that again, but it hurts right now, so I have to find something else. But no, I think I said some shit like 5 or 6. And then he was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then he went to give me a fist bump, and I went for it. And he's like, ew, I'm not touching your hand. And it was like a joke. But then he was like, nah, he actually gave me a high five and shit. He's really cool. Big guy, though. Gained a lot of weight. Oh, shit. When you go there, they have on the table the little like flyers of drinks, but it also has like the feature little pamphlet of Carlos Mencia, and they used a much earlier picture because you just see him like, and he's not to say skinny in the picture.
He's big now,
he's big,
oh,
dude.
God.
Like bubble gut, or at least last time I saw him, like, big dude.
Jeez.
Definitely gained some weight.
He probably doesn't even fit on those motorcycles now.
But back on active comedians.
Do you know about the motorcycles?
Motorcycles?
So he had I watched an episode of MTV Cribs of his, and he had 9 motorcycles.
Jesus.
And then you found out that they were his motorcycles, but not his house, because on MTV Cribs all the houses were fake.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was just like, damn, bro, I thought you were cool.
I low-key like the episodes of Cribs where they like went to the actual house.
Yeah. And sometimes it is. Like, if it's a really rich person, they'll just clean their house. And
like
then...
you said the one about Red Man a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah, Red Man just showed up in his 2-bedroom apartment in Staten Island. It was like a basement apartment too. It was like not even nice.
It's like a shitty apartment with like cigarette butts and like cans of beer everywhere. There's just like damage from stupid ass injuries, and it's like a duplex. Oh, yeah. It's like not even a house. It's just
I put my hole on the wall.
Anyways, back to the top 5. I think we narrowed down 3.
We have 3 out of the 5. I like a lot of the other ones I listed were just like my personal favorites.
Well, name them, and I want to see if maybe any of them.
Kevin James, but he became a movie guy.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, he was a really good stand-up.
Speaking of that, did you see who just recently put up a Netflix special?
No.
Rob Schneider. Yeah, it looks a little. I watched the trailer. I don't know how to say it.
I mean, I personally, I grew up on Rob Schneider. I grew up watching all of his movies.
What I'm trying to say is he's gotten really old, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But like that's the comedy special was really geared to, or at least from what I saw in the trailer, I'll obviously watch it.
It was geared towards old people. I mean, because old people find him funny.
Yeah, about like getting old and like that kind of aspect. Because there's like, if I'm being honest, there's comedians that like my parents love, and they'll put on, and I'll sit there and they'll laugh a couple times. But
like who? Can we call out some people? What are some comedians that your parents like that aren't that funny?
That I don't want to say they're not funny.
Like there's just a lot of big comedians. I'm not a huge Sebastian.
Yeah, that's one of those examples. My parents love him.
I don't like Sebastian that much. He's
but
funny,
if I'm being like I said, there's moments where he just, because he's a very physical kind of comedian, so there's just moments where he does some stupid shit with his body, and I'll crack up laughing. Yeah. Or he does that little voice where he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He like whispers and shit. That shit gets me. But I was gonna say Joe Coy.
Oh my God, yeah,
Russell Peters too. If I'm being honest, I never really was a big Russell Peters guy. He always gave me that kind of like.
He's the number 1 money making guy.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. At a point, I think early Kevin Hart was really fucking
Hearing
funny.
The story of early Kevin Hart is so cool.
Yeah,
because he blew up just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and then became a movie star.
I wouldn't consider him an active comedian, but like maybe 4 years ago,
he grinded out like 8 specials, bro.
Yeah,
he did a lot.
No, yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I think that's why I said early on, because like now I wouldn't even classify him too much as a stand, even though he is in every right, but. He's, like you said, he's just more of like a comedic actor.
Now he's like an activist. He's explaining how to like invest to black communities.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like he's a big like workout guy too, about eating healthy.
I think I was on his Wikipedia for something recently, because I remember reading about how he got fired from the I think it was the Oscars or something, from hosting, because he said those those homophobic tweets that were like half jokes, but nowadays
you can't.
You can't. So man, we have John Mulaney.
I mean, that could just be the top 3 right there. But I feel like...
But even then, like, I feel like there's another third other than John Mulaney. You want to crack open a list and see some...
Yeah, let's open something up.
Let's see what 10 active comedians are looking like.
Yeah, because I'm thinking of just old people and, like, dead comedians. I mean, more of my favorites. Mitch Hedberg was really funny, but he's in, like, that one-liner type of territory.
All time... Best stand-up specials on Netflix right now. Top 10 stand-up comedians of 2019. That's probably the best. I really like Stephen Wright. He's a classic. So how about I'll say the top from 10 to 5. Okay. Or 10 to 6, rather. And then we can go through 5 to 1. Ready? Looks like number 10 is Bill Burr. Number 9, I'm actually not familiar with. Nate Bargatze.
What does he look like?
Look at that.
Never seen him.
Who we got here? Rami Youssef. I know him.
He looks familiar.
But I know him more as an actor. He has that new show on Hulu. What the fuck is it called? Is it his name? It's the name of a person, but I don't know if it's Rami or not. But Youssef? I've been meaning to watch it. Actually, I'm gonna look it up right now because I don't want to leave people on a thread.
Youssef.
Rami Youssef show. The trailer looked mad funny. Oh, it is called Rami. See, I just didn't know if he plays a different character. But it's one of those things that's like loosely based on himself.
Interesting.
Kind of like Lil Dicky's new show. What we got here? Joe Coy.
All right, there's another one.
What is that? The first 4? Yep. So then the 5th one here is Gary Coleman. Don't know who that guy is.
I don't know. I don't know
any
of these people.
I'm hoping we know the top 5 though. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's get cracking.
Nikki's funny.
Yeah.
Nikki's funny.
I'll give it to her. I'll give it to her because she's funny and she's prominent. You know what I mean?
She's very prominent. Her I knew her from Winning at Midnight 8 times.
I didn't even consider it, if I'm being honest. Props. Yeah.
Colin Quinn. Historically, yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
he's known for like the one line, like the Broadway one man show. Mm-hmm. He's really known for that. Chappelle, we already named him,
and he's not the top. At the top, it's this
Michelle
girl.
Wolf.
Wait, there's more. Oh, I guess that was it.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, maybe this is the top. If Dave, what the hell? Who's Shane Gillis, and why is this guy like the most important guy? Do you know who Shane Gillis is?
No, he looks familiar.
Oh, it looks like he's on SNL, apparently.
Oh.
That's what it looks like. I don't know, though. Don't ask me.
So those are number 2 and number 1. Because you counted wrong. Because 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then on 6 you were like, oh, this is number 5.
Bro, I don't fucking know. You act like I know how to count, Dylan.
We learned that, Bobby, episode 4, where we teach Bobby how to count.
Just start the episode. Welcome to episode 5.
Hello. 4. I'm holding index cards.
Just like a cue card. We gotta hire some guy to stand behind the camera. I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know how I feel about this list.
I mean, I like the top 3.
Yeah.
we check the website. It's actually ShaneGillis.com.
Here's like a top 50 best comedians of the 21st century. I'm curious to see what like.
I don't know. I don't even know the people in the photo. You know.
Well, maybe that. Well, no, there's Sarah Silverman here. And that's a great one I didn't think of. Tiffany Haddish, probably.
Tiffany's good.
Yeah. Super relevant.
Jesselnick's funny.
That's another good one. Jesselnick, I think, is somewhere in that 4 to 8 range.
Yeah, Jesselnick is hysterical. He's very defined too. He has like that certain brand.
Hannibal Buress.
He's good. I like Hannibal.
10 to 20 maybe range. Think.
I mean, he's good. He's very good.
Would you put Tom Segura in the top 10? I think I would.
Yeah.
Especially with that podcast. Would you put Joe Rogan in the top 10?
Yes.
I think I would.
I would also like to say that Joe Rogan should be on it just because of the impact he's having right now.
Yeah.
Because he's moving to Texas. Mm-hmm. And he basically said, like, every comedian is going to move there with me because he said he was opening up his own club there, too.
Oh, really? What
so,
kind of club?
Like a comedy club. Like a half indoor, half outdoor comedy club.
That's sick.
And so now every comedian is going to move to Texas.
That's awesome.
And which is weird because now there's going to be a bunch of people bandwagoning, but Joe Rogan already has his like set group of guys that he tours with, so those guys are going to get on.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. I love how homey he is with his boys, you know. Yeah. Like he has a set amount of people.
I would do the same thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
You'd ask me? Huh? Would you bring me on tour?
Unprofessional.
Sorry about that. That was a little loud. Got a little message on my computer.
You sound like Cat Williams there speaking.
You know who I also sounded like?
Who?
A comedian I didn't think to bring up. Aziz Ansari.
Oh, is he active?
That's what I'm saying. You know, his last special was last year, maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, okay, I give it to
him. Then he's active.
And
he wouldn't be top 5, but he's active.
Funny as fuck, and believe it or not, same thing. Kind of that TED Talk-esque humor. Very. I don't want to say political. I don't think that's the word, but very educated.
Yeah, just like
insightful. You can tell he's
insightful.
grown a lot.
Yeah.
He even addresses like all those allegations. Well, not all those. It was one, but like during the whole movement where people were coming out against the celebrities and the actors.
There's who else was? I mean, I know a lot of people just had really good one-off specials.
Trevor Noah.
Yeah. A lot of people have those one-offs. Like
Louis C.K.
Is he on the list?
He's like 25.
Oh my god! Come on, Louis.
I haven't seen his name yet, but Pete Davidson's probably.
Pete Davidson's good. I love Pete. Another Pete.
Fucking.
Pete
you know why I love Pete Davidson? He's our age, and I feel like he just speaks about shit that makes us laugh. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
He's definitely in that kind of. We've never really had anybody like that either. Like a comedian kind of our age. I think the closest was maybe like somebody like. I don't even want to say Bo Burnham because how old is Bo Burnham now? Like
he's old now, but he was young.
But even then, like with that form of comedy, it's not super relatable. It's funny, it's amazing, it's creative. But having somebody like Pete Davidson, who's your age and from your
just
state,
say some goofy shit,
has the same kind of views of how it's just fucking hilarious.
Now that I say, I mean, there's a lot of stand-ups that I forgot they were from New York is because they moved out of New York. Mm-hmm. Like Andrew Schultz is from New York. I don't know if you know Tim. I don't know if you know Tim Dillon.
That name sounds really familiar. How do you spell Dillon?
Dillon. Yeah. So he's really funny. He's from Long Island.
A lot of people on this list too are just like you said, actors now. Sacha Baron Cohen. Was Sacha Baron Cohen even a stand-up comedian? Probably.
Yeah.
Was he?
I mean, a lot of those guys were like Ray Romano was a huge stand-up. Mm-hmm. Anyone who had a sitcom, that's what it was back in the day. It was you did stand up until you got a sitcom.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Top 50 best comedians of the 21st century is the list I'm on.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's number 15.
Jesus Christ.
Higher than him at number 13 is Sarah Silverman.
I don't like that.
At number 12 is Amy Poehler. Number 11, Kristen Wiig.
I mean, I think they're just including comedy writers too.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine
with. So far, he is the highest stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? Larry David.
Okay. Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. He would be big.
Tiffany Haddish. Higher than Chappelle? I don't know about that. But definitely on the top 5, like I said.
Is Schumer on the list?
No.
Oh, good.
You know who they gave number 1 to? Like you said, this is comedians. It's not stand-up comedians. Tina Fey.
Yeah.
But I'd kind of agree on that.
I mean, they're just picking people from the SNL Zeitgeist bubble.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is fine, because those are really funny, relevant people.
Exactly. But like, I'm trying to fucking find...
I think we should just settle on Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, John Mulaney.
As the top 3?
We got 3 different comedians. They all do their own thing.
So that's our top 3.
I think so. I think that's what we should settle on.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But my question to you, just because I'm curious, would we establish that Tiffany Haddish is somewhere in that top 5?
She's definitely top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is the rest of that top 5? It's just blowing my mind.
Yeah, I mean, we would probably have to do some type of, like, I'm pretty sure we would just do, like...
I low-key want to go
Tom Segura probably we'd put on there. Just
I'd have to. Like, as a top 5, just as a placeholder.
I'd probably pick him 5. Because he has a lot of specials out. They're all really funny.
Yeah, he's got, like, 4 Netflix specials out right now. You can go watch all of them, and they're fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. Also watch his podcast. It's equally as funny. The list also had Chris Rock. Just, Oh, how about
Chris Rock is apparently the funniest comedian to see live because he goes up with no material.
I've heard that, yeah.
And he'll be like, all right, what's next? I'd be so annoyed.
I typed in stand-up on... No! No!
So unprofessional.
Now we're gonna get copyright struck for that 2 seconds of audio.
Was that just like an ad?
Yeah, it was like when you scroll over the video on Netflix, it automatically plays it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just like looking at random specials, trying to see if there's anybody who has like I said, a lot. And obviously Dave Chappelle has a shit ton here. Trevor Noah has a couple here. Todd Glass.
Well, Todd Glass has actually been a stand-up for like 40 years or some shit.
And I low-key want to watch some Todd Glass stand-up right now. I didn't know he had that.
Did you ever see the burn that Patrice O'Neal did on him on TV?
Maybe.
It was, I remember I was...
I think you may have shown me or talked
Yeah, there was like a giant mega thread, like a compilation of his Patrice O'Neal and his best comebacks on TV. And there was one where Todd Glass was like, last time when I was here, he's like... I disagree. He's like, I agree with everybody. He's like, now I'm going to disagree with everyone. Mm-hmm. And Patrice O'Neal is like, it's funny that you think that we all remember last time you were here. And you see Todd Glass laugh like, ha, 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 right? And then Patrice goes, yeah, like last time I was on. And just like totally roasted him. And Todd Glass just looks at him like, like he actually got butthurt. Like,
I was like, did you see the video that Jose put in the chat of it was a roast of an athlete, I'm not sure, but it was a big name roast. They had like Shaq on. Jamie Foxx was on, but they brought in a comedian who I think at the last second had to replace another comedian whose name is escaping me, and it's partially because like Jamie Foxx just ended his career right then and there, and it was old, like 90s probably, like that's how old this roast was.
Okay.
But it's fucking hilarious because the guy goes up and like he immediately roasts Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
Like immediately.
All right.
And Jamie, it was like a decent joke, but Jamie like Foxx like retorts or whatever. But then the guy goes on and like fails his next like 3 jokes, and then he just keeps on going. And at one point, Jamie Foxx just like leans into his mic, which is like on his collar. Keep in mind, while the guy is up doing his set, and he's just like, "I'm your conscience, man. It's getting really hot right now." And the crowd is losing their shit. So like, imagine you trying to do like a set.
And you're already bombing. And a way funnier comedian like 10 feet away from you is like being way more funnier than you during your set. It's hilarious. Must hurt. And at one point he's like, "Man, I should really do a joke about the person I came here to roast tonight." Just like shit like that. That's so funny.
Oh man, the video was mad funny.
What a talented guy.
What, right? Easily one of the most talented people. He's got a Grammy. I think he might have multiple Grammys. Yeah. He definitely has an Oscar. Mm-hmm. What is that? He's a go? He's not an EGOT. He's a go. No,
but he's got to get on TV. We got to get him a TV show.
Got to get him on Broadway too. Fill that out. You think he's
on Broadway? He could do it. Yeah. Like when he's old, he's like 60 and he's singing. Yeah, he could do it.
I almost can't get over how talented that guy is. I'm not
even
for sure. Like, just like thinking about all this shit I've seen fucking Jamie Foxx in, and it's like, wow.
He works too. Like I've seen him like practice. Like one time he was like, "I'm gonna get good at dancing," and he just got like incredible at dancing. Yeah. And I'm like, "How the fuck do you do that? I can't do that."
His daughter's about our age. Kind of crazy, right? He's old. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He looked great for however old he is. You want to play that game? How old is Jamie Foxx? How old do you think? If he's my parents' age, I'll flip. But I don't.
I'm gonna say 47.
I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna say 47. And what are we doing? Just distance or like
48?
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
You said 47?
I said 47.
I'll say 49. I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
Give it a 2 year gap.
Give it a 2?
I'm not gonna price this right, you, I promise.
All right.
Jamie Foxx age. He is. I typed in eighth. Wow.
I'm gonna guess he's 50s.
He's 52.
Damn, he looks good.
That's crazy.
So he's the same age as
Jamie Foxx is only 4 years younger than my dad.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And my parents are 58 and 57 now, so yeah, they're.
He's one of those actors that looks incredibly good for his age. Mm-hmm. It's like Paul Rudd. That guy's actually a vampire.
How old is? I mean, I know he's old. How old is Paul?
Paul Rudd might be 51, like right under him.
Jesus Christ!
And Paul Rudd still looks like he did. He's 51. He's born in 69.
So I'm thinking of him in Wet Hot American Summer. He was in his 30s.
Right.
That's so strange.
Even him in like
he looked like a kid. He looked like a kid in there.
If anything, I feel like his face is still the same, and if anything, he's just gotten more jacked as time has gone on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See him like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and he's just decked out.
Jeez.
Fuck! I was gonna say something. Was it about Paul Rudd?
Was it about comedians?
No, it was about actors. I think. Shout out to losing my train of thought.
Like the 8th time.
I'm so good at that. Not this episode.
Yeah.
8th times. Yeah. Combined this episode and the last episode.
What was I going to talk about?
That was one of the tips I wrote down. It was like, keep track of thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's very fucking hard to do that.
For sure.
When you want to talk about everything at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk about like more history shit when I was talking about history shit, but I totally.
We'll get back to that. We'll get into some history shit.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna hear that segue. Yeah. So did you watch that movie about? Speaking of that movie about the Byzantine Empire, Dylan, I heard you were.
How much you want to look? We have how much left in the podcast? We have about
1 minute.
Imagine. No, we have about 20 plus minutes of this podcast left.
Oh, we don't.
We do. Before. The end of this podcast. By the way, I just took off my glasses and I feel like I'm seeing different colors right now.
Nice.
Before we finish this podcast, I'm going to find a way to, like, the most smoothest segue you've ever seen.
Into history.
You ready?
Cool.
It starts now.
Nice.
But we're not finished with the comedy talk yet.
Oh, of course not.
Because I want. Oh, that's what I was trying to bring up. I wanted to talk about, because that was a perfect segue and I fucking lost it, talking about comedians who turned into actors.
Oh.
And who have starred in comedy movies now. That's kind of what they do.
Yeah. Who do you think is the best comedian turned funny actor? Because it's kind of sad because a lot of comedy movies with those actors have bad reviews. Mm-hmm. And they're all really good.
Just to ask, like, strictly actor or comedy acting?
Both.
Because there's been situations where a stand-up comedian goes and becomes like, look at Robin Williams, rest in peace. Like,
Well, okay, like him, yeah, he's in his own category. But I'm talking like just
even
like,
Jamie Foxx. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, we could do two for that. Well, I would say just like comedy movies.
Comedy movies.
Yeah.
The best.
Because I would say with me right off the bat, Will Ferrell has done it.
Yeah, that's probably.
Will Ferrell.
Does he do stand up?
At one point, I feel like he did stand up.
I don't know. He did SNL. I don't know if he did stand. I mean, he's definitely a writer. That's at the end of it, you get the credit.
Hold up,
you know
did
what I mean?
Will Ferrell not do stand up?
I don't know. What's the consensus? What's the answer? He also doesn't peg me as a stand-up guy, you know? Not a stand-up guy, you know, but like stand-up comedian. That Will Ferrell's a stand-up guy. Shout outs to Dylan.
Sorry, bro. I'm deep into this
in this rabbit hole right now.
He worked at Wells Fargo. He did comedy. He did improv at Wells Fargo. He joined a comedy troupe called the Groundlings. He was like a improv guy.
Yeah. Oh, look, perfect. You know what I did, Dylan? I Googled, does Will Ferrell fucking do stand-up comedy? And the second answer, no. In Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, Will Ferrell expressed his fear of stand-up.
Jeez. Okay.
You went through the whole wiki article. You probably went to early life into career, right?
Damn, bro. I also was interested in where he went to high school and shit.
But honestly, it's funny you bring that up because Will Ferrell and a lot of those SNL people, you know, granted they have amazing comedy movie backgrounds, they definitely peg me as improv people.
They can't. Yeah, they definitely.
I mean,
they all are. That's where they started.
Bill Hader, like these are all people who most likely started in that improv scene. Even
in acting,
Donald Glover, you know.
Yeah.
Granted, he kind of went from improv into stand up, but that's where he started, and now he does fucking everything. Shout outs to another amazingly talented person. Did he? I think he won a Grammy, right?
I think so.
He has an Emmy and a Grammy. I think that's what he has.
Because he won Atlanta, right? He went for writing on Atlanta.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah, pretty sure. Yep.
Same movies.
No, yeah, the actor. But stand-up comedian movies, maybe Kevin Hart.
He's been in a lot.
He makes hits, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of I have a personal favorite.
Who's that?
I don't care what anybody says about him. Adam Sandler will always just have you know what I mean? He'll always have that place in my heart.
He has quantity too. He has everything.
And for what I'm saying, that last special he put out like a year or two ago, it's not on Netflix anymore, but 100% fresh. Fucking hilarious.
Wait, it got taken off of Netflix?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was probably just like a small deal or anything like that, but it's not there anymore. But it was incredible. It was like a mixture of like actual one-liner stand-up jokes with like
all of the songs
comedy.
were really good.
They're fucking hilarious. There's like a really touching tribute to Chris Farley. It was amazing. It's like he pegs me as one of those people, especially with Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
That is like weirdly coming in his prime at an older age, kind of like a Joe Rogan. Or kind of like there's another person I had this exact same thought about, Keanu Reeves, who definitely had a prime in the 90s, but is coming back super hard now all of a sudden.
I want him in more stuff, though. I feel like Keanu needs to be in everything.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
Well, that whole thing is he was supposed to be in John Wick 4 and The Matrix 4 on like the same day in 2021, but yeah, it's probably got halted like everything else. And not only that, Marvel was trying to bring him in. Shout out. To be well, I don't know if they were trying to, but a lot of fans want him to play Moon Knight, which is kind of like Marvel's Batman.
I love Moon
He's
Knight.
Like, I don't remember the origins too well. He's like a guy who gets locked in an Egyptian temple or something like that.
On the moon.
You know, it's like in ancient Egypt, and he gets his power from like the god of moon or something like that. Yeah. Shout outs to ancient Egypt, right? Have you been watching any historic videos on ancient Egypt, Dylan?
I haven't, but I love Egypt. Egypt's cool.
Shout out to Egypt. My girlfriend went to Egypt.
Oh, yeah. That's the sad thing about the Middle East and that whole area is it's not in great shape right now, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading about this one city in Lebanon that's 7,000 years old.
Jesus.
And there's buildings in the city that are that old.
And our country is like 300 years old.
Honestly, if that. That's like we rebuild the buildings every 20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. And it's a city that old.
Yeah.
Fuck.
You're not a history guy, right?
I like history.
Yeah.
I don't actively go out and search. It was always my favorite subject in school.
Do you have a favorite moment in history?
A favorite moment in history?
Yeah. Time period or just civilization that was cool?
Time period.
By the way, if you pick anything before 1950s, you're racist.
Shit.
Imagine.
Now, I was actually gonna say, I think the whole like the space race era was kind of cool. Cold War.
Oh, the whole Cold War era is like, amazing.
Yeah, I think that was like some
because then you had the space race and you had Vietnam,
JFK,
and then
just like that whole fucking. I'm not saying that's good history, but that's history. You know, it was
that's
like that
history.
Shit went down for those 20 years or however long. But
and also just like the birth rates were also exponentially increasing, so there's also more like chess pieces, I guess. Like there's more people at play.
Exactly.
So everything's even more tense.
Mm-hmm. And what was I gonna say? I don't think I had a favorite like period in history or historic moment, but I definitely had like a favorite thing I like to learn about in history.
And what's that?
Religion, for some reason.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
World religions and shit like that, because that was our. I don't know if it was the same for everybody, but my first year in high school, we had to do that in our global history or whatever. It was just like world religions, and that was sick to learn about.
I don't remember. I mean, I learned about some of it. But...
We learned about everything. I think the one we learned least about was like Christianity, because we went to a Catholic school.
Yeah, and they were like, "We'll get into that."
I mean, we had religion class, right, where every answer was just like, "Love God."
Yeah. Well, that was the thing I hated about because you went to Catholic school, right? Your whole or no?
Oh yeah. I thought you were gonna ask me. I was like, we went to fucking school for 4 years together, bro.
I was asking like before that, like when you were little.
Yeah.
Because I went to public.
Grade school.
Yeah, grade school, and so on Wednesdays we would go to the CCD. But I got mad because every year we didn't learn anything. Like we learned it was just love your parents, don't be selfish, pray.
Yep.
And then that last year where you make your confirmation, she was just like, yeah, you have to memorize every prayer by next week. I'm like, fuck. And then she's like, do you know what the Council of Nicaea is? And I'm like, no,
I don't even know what the Council of Nicaea is.
It's where they like made the Bible. And I was like, wait, they made the Bible? And then it was just like... It was just like, oh shit, all right, what did I get into? But no, for real, and I was just learning about all of that, and I'm like,
I remember I was the only kid out of like my family or like friend group at that age who went to Catholic school. So all of my other friends, but you know what I mean, the kids I grew up with would always be like, man, you're so lucky you don't have to go to CCD or anything. And I was like, because I go to this school. You guys go to public school. That's why you have to go to fucking
And even then,
class
CCD was the best because I got out of school an hour and 15 minutes early every Wednesday.
So you get out early?
We missed a whole class. There was one class they had where it was just 7 people in the class, and they were the only 7 not Catholic students. Because my class was like 22 kids, and all of them went to CCD because they were all Irish Catholic people.
Yeah. That reminds me of I'm trying to see if that dot is blinking. Is it?
It looks like it is.
I can't tell.
I can tell. It's blinking.
100%?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's blinking. Yeah. Sorry about that. I got lost.
I know. I
got lost in the blink.
Yeah.
No, but I was gonna say that it was that the whole thing you just said about getting out of school early to do that reminded me, and the whole Catholic talk reminded me of my last year of senior year in high school, where I would get out every day at like 10:30.
Me too, because I remember I took a bunch of classes first half of senior year of high school because you could choose what classes you wanted. Mm-hmm. And I chose a bunch of classes that like I didn't even want to take. I just took because fuck it.
Yep.
And then I ended up dropping all of them immediately. And I remember in the first, I failed Spanish 4, and then I dropped out of pre-calc or whatever it was, whatever math. So I only had like 3 classes I went to. It was incredible, and I got out, like you said.
I never failed a class. I came close. I failed the Regents. I was annoyed about.
Which one was that?
Trig. I was.
That was the fucking.
Bro, I was the worst.
I got
that was the class I almost failed.
Bro, I got like a 40 on that.
Yeah, that was the one Regents that kept me from graduating with the Regents diploma, and that's why at the time I was a little like, whatever.
I actually got the advanced Regents because the Regents diploma because I had Earth Science and Physics.
Oh, yep. Yeah, that'll do. I only did Earth Science.
Fuck physics.
Yeah.
This is how the world works.
You had done Earth Science pre-high school.
I did.
Right?
I did Earth Science 7th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did biology 7th grade, and they forgot to send my shit in.
Yeah. Fucking school, man.
Oh, what was I gonna say? About how I used to get out early every day from school, because like Dylan said, we used to pick our classes, and we used to like pretty much you could schedule your day to get out at like whenever you wanted. Yeah. I think it changed by quarter, because that's how it didn't go by trimester or anything, by quarters. But there was a time where for like, I think it was 2 quarters, where my last class of the day was at maybe like 10:30. So I'd get out at like 11:30. But my last class was Introduction to Christian Meditation.
Yeah.
Which was realistically like the first 15 to 20 minutes.
I'm so mad I didn't take
the
that.
first 15 to 20 minutes of that class was like an icebreaker.
Okay.
And then the rest of it was we just got mats and slept on the floor.
That's amazing. Because I remember that year I took 2 classes that were both like really intense religion classes.
Mm-hmm.
They were Death and Afterlife and World of Religions.
Mm-hmm.
And they were both like studying, you're reading all these books, and I'm like, you're fucking napping?
I took that, and I took Christianity into film,
Yeah.
just because I was like into film. I actually didn't like that class too much. It was
We watched a lot of Christian film.
yeah.
Flywheel.
Fucking.
We gotta watch Flywheel.
Can we rewatch that?
We need to
movie?
watch that on the podcast. We need to watch Flywheel.
Can we talk about Flywheel?
I love Flywheel. It's like my favorite movie.
We had a teacher so Dylan and I, we went to high school together, obviously, but for some reason in our freshman year of high school, we had a lot of classes together.
Yeah.
We had biology together.
Well, because the way by the way, it actually creeped a lot of people out because freshman year of high school, I figured out how they made the schedule. So the schedule ran on like a program they used, and there was like a formula that was like, oh, this was class B. And on class B, you would have it on these 2 days and these 2 days and these 2 days. Mm-hmm. And so everyone that was in religion also had bio and had bio lab and also had gym. So we were in all.
We had gym, yeah.
We had gym together too,
because
they were all the same class.
Cool. I didn't even think about that. Actually, fun. That's why we had the same fucking people in both those classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a religion teacher, and I think it wasn't like scheduled or anything, but like once a month maybe she would show us a movie, and they weren't always religious, but most of the time they had a spin, you know. But she showed us this one movie one time that's just stuck with us our entire friendship.
Terrible plot, in my opinion.
So it's a movie called Flywheel.
Yes,
it is a movie,
which is a car part. For people don't know.
It's a Christian film. Funny enough, I came to learn that the guy who plays the main character in that movie is
a pastor.
He's just the guy that they get to be that guy in those movies. You know what I mean? Like he's the main Christian movie actor.
That's so cool. I wish I had that.
When I was still part of the church youth group I used to go to, we had a movie night.
But you're not wearing the hat.
Not wearing the hat. I was gonna. We watched another Christian movie, but at the time, like, you know, granted, Christian movies don't have the same notoriety as, like, say, a blockbuster film. But that one that we were watching, let's just call it like the end game of Christian films. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and he was the main guy in that movie too.
Interesting.
So I was like, oh shoot, that's the guy from Flywheel, and I looked it up, and he's like in 7 of those movies.
And the weird thing is, he's not even a good actor. He's a bad actor.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He's really bad. I'm gonna be.
He has the same, you know, just like
his family is worse. In my opinion, his family is way worse. But for a lead guy, he has no charisma.
So yeah, Flywheel Christian movie about a man who owns a car dealership.
He's a used car salesman,
but he knowingly overcharges people for the cars that he sells.
Yeah, and he knows it, and they all have problems, and they all have faults or whatever, and he doesn't tell them.
And then
shady guy.
Somehow, throughout the movie, he becomes a good guy, and he starts giving fair rates on cars, and I think he does something like extra or whatever.
Because it's like, I don't know.
But point is, this movie is
Jesus. Wait, how is it about Jesus? Because he became religious and he became better from that?
Honestly speaking, here's my thing. This isn't bashing Christian movies. This is more just bashing movies, right? Yeah. There's like 3 scenes in that movie where they go to church, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like a Catholic church. It's like a mega church, like in the South specifically.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it feels like they put that in there low-key just to like stress that it's a Christian movie low-key. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty other scenes and parts where they have conversations
and themes
about,
and even then it could be like that. Those are my favorite, by the way, when you have those type of intentions but you keep it low-key. That's always like, even in songs, if you're gonna make a Christian song, make it low-key and it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to force it.
I think that's more what it is for me, right? I feel like there's other ways to go about it, and I feel like I'm not...
Go to church 3 times in the movie, like, we get it. They go to fucking church. You don't gotta show...
It's a Christian movie, we get it. There's other ways to do it.
You can show him with like a cross on the wall, and even then that's more low-key.
And even then, I'd argue that's more just like direct than having it, like you said, a thematic kind of way of doing it. And at the same time, I get that it's a Christian movie and that's what they're trying to, you know, I guess evangelize or whatever, that they're showing that. But I mean, you know, maybe more people would watch them if they looked a little cooler.
If they were way better and didn't have a freaking pale man.
That same guy and all of them.
His dumb child. I remember from the movie, the child was so stupid. He'd just be like, "Hey, Pop." He was just the dumbest kid.
Oh man. We are getting close to the end of the episode, which means it is time for everybody's favorite segment, Dylan.
But can we talk about something first?
We can talk about something first.
Chicken runs at midnight.
What the fuck?
Chicken runs at midnight.
What?
Do you know what that means?
The chicken runs at midnight?
The chicken runs at midnight.
No.
I remember I told this story one time, but when I was little, we had to watch, we had like a retreat for when I made my confirmation, and we had to watch all of these movies and all these weird films. A lot of them had themes of suicide for some reason. It was really creepy.
They do that a lot.
And one of the movies was this film, and it showed like 4 different people and how God made them better at something. Mm-hmm. And one was about how Mike Piazza got better at defense because he prayed to Jesus. And it was like Mike Piazza.
Wait.
So it was like it was like a 4-part series. It was
Go back. It
was 4 parts, and it was each one was about a different like sports athlete. And they prayed and they believed in God and they had some experience where they prayed or had like a faith. Camera's still good. And that led to them getting better at the sport. And one was Mike Piazza, and it was just like him on like a rock.
And it's really Mike Piazza?
And it's about Mike Piazza and about how he was like the worst fielder, but he was a really good hitter. Yeah. That was what he's known for. And since he prayed to God, God gave him the strength to get a higher throwing percentage as a catcher. And it's like all of these like stock photos of like, and just even like these shitty blurry.
But they didn't get Mike Piazza.
No, there was actually Mike Piazza.
They got him.
And it was like he was on the rocks and he was like meditating by the water. And it was like, through the power of Christ, he threw 10 more batters out trying to steal second base. And there was one of the Florida Marlins who just became a team in 1993. Their brand new team. And in 97, they became the World Series champion. And they won in some dramatic game. And one of the players, one of the managers, hit one of his daughters had cancer. And one night, she woke up in the middle of the night from pain or whatever, went to him, and she was like, "Dad, the chicken runs at midnight." And he's like, "What does that mean?" And so the Marlins had a guy on their team, and his name was Craig Counsell. He's currently a manager. And his nickname was the Chicken, because he had a batting stance where like I don't want to elbow the camera, but he had it where like he would flop like a chicken.
Yeah, chicken dance, low key maybe.
Yeah, and it was bases loaded, RBI single up the middle. He runs home as the winning run. They win the World Series. The manager gets up. He's celebrating on the field. He looks up. 12 o'clock. Chicken ran home at midnight.
That's insane, low key.
And it was like they span it in a way. It was like that was God's way of showing that he was the one that did this. And I was like, that's cool.
Is that a real story though?
Yeah.
If that is, fucking dope.
And they were all about like baseball, or they were all, and I was just like, that's so cool.
I get that. You know, real quick before we go on to the last segment,
the best segment.
I was literally on Wikipedia, Mike Piazza's Wikipedia. Did you know the thing about like him and ballet? It's actually pretty cool.
No.
His like daughters do it. So since his daughters do ballet, he like actively tries to get like the athletic kind of like community more driven towards like ballet. And I like not to say that it's not a sport, because you know I can't do anything that those fucking ballet dancers be doing. But you know, just to be more recognized, because they're fucking, like I said, they train fucking hard for that shit.
Have you seen Black Swan? Crazy.
No. But because of that, like he has even like been in some of his daughters' like ballet performances and stuff like that. He like makes it widespread attention. It's kind of cool. What position did he play on the Mets? Catcher, right?
Yeah, he played catcher, and he wasn't good at fielding.
That's why when you said fielding, I was like, I only remember him as a catcher. But yes, you ready for the final segment?
Yeah.
The jam and
everyone's been waiting for this.
Of the week. Yes.
This is the real tense
What
moment.
Is your I guess I'll go first.
You'll go first.
Keep the jam consistency. Yes, I have it right here. I promise I'm not going to pull my phone out every single jam and yam, but it's just because the last 2 weeks the names are a little hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this guy's name is Snot.
$, NOT.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know him. He's good.
And my jam is GOSHA, I think it is. GOSHA? Yeah, it's GOSHA.
Can you show me the album art real quick? If you have it? Because I know him.
Oh wait, how do you change it? How do you take the fucking
click?
art off?
Just click on his thing. Just click.
I don't fucking know how to do it. I'm not good with technology, Dylan.
Just you click on the album, and it will show like the album art.
Just playing the fucking song, Dylan. It's a single. It's not an album. That's why. Look at it. Look really close. It's like the black and white thing.
Oh, it's cool.
But yes, that's my jam.
Yeah.
Oh, you found out how to open the album.
Yeah, you click on the dots and then you go to album.
Oh, you see? You're better at this than I am. Fuck you. And what's the yam of the week?
The yam of the week is 7 Years by Charli XCX.
Is that off the new album, the Quarantine album?
She has, despite making a really good album, she made an album in like 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really good album.
Fire.
Yeah, the whole thing is about the quarantine and staying inside and wanting to do things outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why
and
I say
it has like those hyper pop kind of vibes that you've been
same ones.
Lately.
I've been on that. I've been on those vibes.
I've been telling people I low key feel like that's where pop music is going.
I was telling people also that I feel like a lot of music is just getting sped up or slowed down.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone loves the slow down rap music.
Those slowed and reverb.
Yeah, slowed and reverb. People love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then with hyperpop, it's all sped up.
Yep. It's weird. I think it's just because for the first time, there's no like yeses or nos or wrongs or rights in music.
Yeah.
Especially like when we were growing up, where pop music was so fucking formatted and everybody looked the same and did the same things and acted the same.
And now I just think that also as well, because of the quarantine, so many people were at home. And now they just made music, and especially now.
Not only music, the music they want to make.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's FL Studio. You just download it, and then now you have an album.
And I love that. It's dope. Yeah. It's raw. You know, it might not be my favorite thing that I hear all the time, but just the fact that they're making the music they want to make, sick. It's dope. All those Brockhampton tracks that came out at the start.
Oh my god, yeah.
So hard.
I mean, that's why I loved Brockhampton. The start was just that like that rise and that like underground aspect.
But yes, yam of the week, GOSHA by Snot, and 7 Years by Charli XCX.
Her tits are on the cover. It's really nice. She's like laying down in like
she's
a
wearing
white
that,
shirt.
Like,
the white shirt.
The white shirt. Yeah, it's actually a fire ass album cover.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is she's like taking with the camcorder. It's like with the old school type shit. Anyway, thanks for joining us on episode 3 of the podcast. End it with howdy.
I blew out the mic with that.
If you guys want to see anything, you want to see us talk about something.
Next week we're gonna have on Mike Piazza's ballet daughter.
Ballet daughter?
That's her name.
Ballet daughter.
Ballet daughter Piazza.
Please join us next week. It's gonna be fun. We're actually gonna try a little segment, try something new, and hope you join us.
Hopefully, we'll have a hidden member of the podcast on. Like that's the segment. Once a month, we'll have on the actual other members of Joystick. Why are you looking at me like that?